What would you do if the life of an innocent child was slipping away in front of your eyes, and the only way to save him meant breaking every rule, risking your job, your freedom, and your future? Would you have the courage to act, or would you walk away in fear? This is not just the story of a poor cleaning lady. It is the story of a woman who, in a single desperate moment, chose bravery over obedience, love over fear, and sacrifice over silence. And what she did next would shock everyone, changing not only her life, but the lives of those around her forever. A dense cloud of whispers floated above the courtroom. The air was heavy, suffocating almost, filled with heat and tension. Wooden benches creaked under the weight of neighbors, reporters, and curious strangers who had come to witness the trial of the so-called healer of San Jacinto. Don Hilario Ramirez, an old man known in nearby villages for curing with prayers and leaves, sat silently in the defendant's chair. His body was motionless, his hands bound in cold steel, his eyes fixed on the ground. Strands of gray hair fell like brittle branches over his shoulders. Behind him, two policemen stood rigid, watching him with stern expressions, as if the frail old man were a real threat. Across the room, his daughter Mariella stood tall, her heart pounding against her ribs. She was barely 30, yet her voice carried the weight of many lives lived. When she stepped forward, ignoring the prosecutor's warning glare, her voice rang out, firm and unshaken. "Release my father," she said clearly. Then, raising her tone, "and I will make you walk again." Laughter exploded across the courtroom. Some tried to stifle it, others laughed openly. A man snorted, a reporter shook her head, muttering something about village theatrics. Even the court secretary couldn't hide a smile. But not everyone was laughing. At the back, Judge Carlos Barreto sat in his wheelchair, watching in silence. His reputation preceded him, implacable, unyielding. 30 years on the bench with a voice like iron and a face carved from stone. 8 years earlier, a car accident had left him paralyzed from the waist down. No treatment, no doctor, no miracle had worked. He had learned to live with the certainty that he would never walk again. He studied Mariella, trying to decide whether he was witnessing madness or something else. His voice cut through the murmur of the room. "Are you speaking to me?" he asked, deep and grave. "To you, Your Honor, and to everyone here," Mariella answered, her chin lifted. "If you allow them to release my father, I swear on the very earth I stand upon, I will make you walk again." Incredulity danced in the judge's eyes. The prosecutor leaned forward, ready to object, but the judge silenced him with a hand. "This is a courtroom, young lady, not a carnival." "Then let justice be done," Mariella replied firmly. "Test me. See if I'm a fraud or not. There is no risk, only truth." A long silence followed. Something deep inside the judge stirred, something buried beneath years of frustration and skepticism. Perhaps it was doubt. Perhaps it was a fragile, long-forgotten need to believe in something beyond paper and forensic evidence. At last he raised his hand. "Release him." The room froze. The prosecutor stepped forward. "With all due respect, Your Honor, 5 minutes, no more. If this is a farce, they both go to jail for contempt." Mariella nodded, deadly serious. The guards hesitated, exchanged uneasy glances, then unlocked Don Hilario's handcuffs. The old man rubbed his wrists, weary but with a spark of light in his eyes. Mariella approached him and drew a small embroidered cloth bag from beneath her blouse. From it, she produced a handful of dried herbs, a tiny glass vial of dark liquid, and a strip of red ribbon. The room seemed to stop breathing. Don Hilario lowered himself slowly to his knees in front of the judge. Mariella poured drops of oil into her hands and rubbed them until they gleamed. Then she placed her palms on the judge's lifeless legs, moving her fingers with delicate precision, as if weaving something unseen. All the while she murmured in Nahuatl, an ancient chant that carried the echo of forgotten generations. The air thickened with every word, time itself growing dense. 1 minute passed, then 2, then 3. No one laughed. No one dared move. When it was done, Mariella tucked the objects back into her bag and stepped aside. "Try," she whispered. The judge didn't move at first. Every gaze in the room was fixed on him. Policemen, lawyers, the prosecutor, even the reporter who had lost her smirk. The tension was unbearable, electric. "Enough of this nonsense," Judge Barreto muttered under his breath. But then he felt it. A sting, a warmth, a tingling at the base of his spine that spread down into his thighs. His fingers trembled as he gripped the armrests of his chair. The wheels squeaked as he pushed, and then, before everyone's eyes, he rose, slowly, unsteadily, but he stood. A gasp tore from the back of the room. A woman crossed herself. The reporter dropped her pen. Nobody spoke, but everyone knew they had just witnessed something that no courtroom record could ever explain. The judge stared at his legs, at his trembling hands. He lifted his eyes to Mariella and Don Hilario. He did not say, "Thank you." He simply murmured, "Case dismissed. Leave." And then he lowered himself back into the chair, very slowly, as if the weight of the moment was too much for the world to hold. In that instant, the courtroom was forever changed. This story reminds us that true courage often comes from the most unexpected people. The cleaning lady had no money, no power, and no safety net. Yet she carried the greatest wealth of all, an unshakable heart willing to do anything to save a child. We live in a world where people are often judged by their job, their clothes, or their status. But what truly defines us is the humanity we carry within. Sometimes it takes those who have the least to teach us the greatest lesson, that love, sacrifice, and bravery can break every barrier and rewrite destiny. Never underestimate the power of a single act of compassion. It can turn ordinary people into heroes and remind us all that true greatness lies not in what we own, but in what we give.